Hello, my name is Anthony Hall, and I'm here with 3D generalist Sophie Rack from a company called Blink. Hi, Sophie.
Hiya.
So, Sophie, can you tell us a little bit about your company you work for, Blink, and what your job as a 3D generalist is about?
Yeah, so Blink is sort of like a big multimedia design studio working in the UK as well as studios in China as well. And they offer a range of services such as branding, design, CGI, video, and photography. So it's sort of a mixed bag of multimedia really in the company. So my role there is as a CGI generalist or 3D generalist. So basically, for my role, it's sort of having a larger skill set. So whatever the project requires at the time, it's doing whatever is needed in that area of 3D. So instead of having a specialist role of just being an animator, a rigger, a modeler, it's kind of having a bit of skill set in everything for the task at hand. So one project you might be just modeling, another project you might have a model provided or CAD files and you're rendering it in a scene, or some you might just be doing animations. So sort of a general overlook of everything rather than one specific subject.
Cool, sounds good. So basically, you're not actually just from job to job just doing the same thing. It could be, I bet it's quite good because you're going from one thing to another. So, do you know what I mean? Because if you're just modeling for every single project, it could be a little bit boring after a bit of a time. But because you're jumping from project to project doing different stuff, I bet it keeps you on your toes a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, I quite enjoy having a mixed bag of stuff. I quite like different projects and different things to do and challenges. So I quite enjoy doing a bit of everything.
Cool. So I've actually got the company show reel here. So we'll play this and have a look. There's some amazing stuff on there, Sophie. I've got to say, it looks like they work on some really big projects.
Yeah,
Uh,
we have a lot of clients and stuff.
cool. So, how did you actually get into 3D? Can you tell us a bit about your background, how you managed to get into 3D, and how you got to work for Blink?
So I began on a level three multimedia course at college, and that was sort of a range of learning different things from web to design to Photoshop, but also included 3D, which was what I was sort of drawn towards more after spending a few years on the course. It wasn't really initially what I thought I would get into, but yeah, it definitely caught me on off guard.
So when you so when you started college on like on like the interactive media, have you ever done 3D before?
No, so from level 3, I didn't even know really about much about 3D other than it being sort of something that was never really in my reach, I
So
guess.
really, you've kind of come into college looking at being a designer, and then got into 3D by kind of like just because of the course and kind of got hooked on it.
Yeah.
Cool. And what did you do after the HND?
So after HND, I decided to top that up to a full university degree and went on to learn computer games modelling and animation at Derby University. So I sort of had an interest in game design and sort of like gaming. So I wanted to sort of pursue that as well as learning another set of skills. And this was primarily all sort of 3D related or like learning the industry standards of game design. So that was sort of pushing my skills, and that really made me like sort of definitely know that I wanted to be in the industry, and sort of was just like, this is what I want to do for pretty much for the rest of my life. So that was like after university, it was like, now I just need to get into the industry. So after leaving university, I decided to gain some work experience to boost my CV and my overall sort of skill set and sort of try and stand out in the vast industry. So I was able to get some really good work experience at JCB as well as a game design studio, both sort of on the lines of what I'd learned previously in the HND and university. So sort of keeping those doors open. And then after those experiences, I was working remotely for Oak Moon Game Studios as well. So yeah, I was just getting as much sort of backing as I can in the industry.
Cool.
And then just while I was trying to get my foot in the door, I started doing work experience at Vision West North College, which is obviously where you guys are. So I was just helping out as like a 3D assistant with the students and stuff, while trying to again expand my knowledge in 3D and get my foot into the industry really.
So what was your first job in 3D?
So my first role was at HDR Light Studio, and that was as a 3D artist. And that was a big generalist role really. It was learning multiple software, multiple packages of everything, materials, modelling, rendering, and sort of like producing renders and demonstration videos, and providing models as well for demonstrations of their software, HDR Light Studio. I spent probably about 2 years working there and sort of gained a massive amount of knowledge and skill, and it just really pushed me to sort of really expand where I was in like college and university and become my own sort of artist in the industry. So after getting, a lot of confidence and really finding my feet in this area of 3D, which is like commercially and quite like advertisements and doing sort of work for, different sort of demonstration purposes, that I knew like I wanted to pursue my career further, and that's when I applied for my current role, which is at Blink. So now I work at Blink as a CGI generalist, and I sort of do a range of different things. So I work on bathrooms, kitchens, products, modelling, rendering, and a little bit of animation. So kind of like interiors as well, and sometimes just whatever project comes in, it can be a different thing, different days of the time. So it's really exciting and different and interesting to do.
Cool. So between like going to college and university, different projects you worked on, do you have one project that you just, I mean, it don't really matter what it is, but do you have one that stands out that you think you really enjoyed the most?
So my favourite project so far has been the teddy bear render. I really enjoyed this project. It was a lot of fun. It was also a new challenge for me because I hadn't done the woven sort of knitted effect. So it's learning how to do that woven knit effect, as well as learning hair and rendering hair as well, because the particles and fibres and stuff, as well as then wrapping it onto the teddy bear model itself. So it was a big challenge, and it was also something that I could put a lot of character and personality and sort of tell a story. And I really enjoy projects that have any of those or all of those in. So when you can really just sort of dive in a project and sort of just give it, you know, a bit of you, really, a bit of your personality, it's always good fun. And yeah, my little teddy bear is he's just cute. So yeah, I quite enjoy him still even today. He's one of my favourites. Yeah.
Going forward, do you have a plan of where you maybe like to progress in like 5 or 10 years? Do you have like an idea in plan, or are you just going to take it as it comes?
So yeah, in 5 years' time, I would really love to be still doing CG, 3D. Hope to still be in the industry and you know, pushing further as an artist. I'd still, you know, I still have a lot of goals, but kind of also, you know, just go with the flow of learning and enjoying it, really. I'd like to probably get more sort of adverts and commercials, things that I see maybe big audiences and maybe even worldwide audiences. You know, I'd really love to be able to sort of turn the telly on and be like, this is my advert, this is my CG in this, or, you know, maybe even, you know, go towards, you know, big screen one day. But yeah, I just think it's a great experience, so I'm happy with working towards each goal.
Cool. So I've got a question here from a student, and the students have asked if you could give one bit of advice about how to get into the 3D industry. What would it be, based on what you've done so far?
I think a big one is sort of experience. Trying to get any experience you can is really helpful. A lot of the time, it was one of the big things that came up when I was applying for jobs or went to interviews. They really wanted to know like what experience you had and what things you did that, you know, not everybody else was doing. So sort of having experience in the industry, I'd say is really important to sort of get your foot in the door, as well as sort of like networking when possible, and like going to events, finding these places where these people are, like where CG artists are going to, or anything like that is really, really useful and helps you to sort of gauge what people are looking for and sort of who's in the industry and that kind of thing.
So basically, sorry, go on. I was going to say that. So you know, when you leave university, I mean, imagine if you've got a university portfolio and there's not a lot of like live client stuff in there, it's probably quite hard to get into the industry. So would I right be saying that don't sit down and not do a lot? Go and get work experience, learn new skills, build your portfolio. Is that, and try and meet as many people in the industry as you can? Is that what you're trying to say, really?
Yeah, that's definitely what I'm trying to say. Yeah, try and build your portfolio. Even during your studies, you know, there's times during summer where you can get experiences, or after university, try and get experiences, as well as, you know, it's college and university is really fun to sort of build a good portfolio and maybe have a look at other artists to try and find something more unique about your style or what you do. But as well as that, you know, having that experience is going to bring your CV and your skills up higher than other candidates.
Cool. So before we finish, so would you reckon? Do people look for a degree in that game? Do they want to see a degree as well as a portfolio and skills? Would you say?
I think I found the degree was helpful, but it wasn't as important as the experience. A lot of the time, the interviews, they were impressed by having the degree, but I think they would have also been impressed if I just had the HND sort of thing. So,
right.
You know, for me, doing the university was sort of to explore the game side of things and sort of find my feet in what I wanted to do in that industry. But it's not always necessary. Like if I took a year out and done work placement, I think that would have benefited more, as well as, you know, getting the sort of knowledge as well.
Well, that's great, Sophie. Thank you very much for giving us the time to do this interview, and I wish you all the best in the future.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.